What if one man controlled 90% of an entire industry in America? What if that same man became the world's first billionaire, then spent the second half of his life giving it all away? Meet John D. Rockefeller, the oil tycoon who revolutionized American business, sparked a national crisis, and left a legacy so complex we're still debating it today. Born on July 8, 1839, in rural New York, John Davison Rockefeller entered a world on the brink of transformation. America was expanding westward, industrialization was accelerating, and new technologies were emerging that would reshape civilization. Young Rockefeller grew up in modest circumstances, the son of a traveling salesman with questionable ethics and a devoutly Baptist mother who instilled in him discipline, frugality, and meticulous record-keeping habits that would define his career. At 16, Rockefeller landed his first job as an assistant bookkeeper in Cleveland, earning 50 cents a day. He was so proud of this achievement that he celebrated September 26, 1855, as his personal holiday for the rest of his life, calling it more important than his birthday. This wasn't just youthful enthusiasm. It revealed something fundamental about Rockefeller's character, an almost religious devotion to business and wealth accumulation. By age 20, he'd saved enough to start his own commodities business. But the real opportunity came in 1859, when Edwin Drake struck oil in Titusville, Pennsylvania. The world suddenly needed kerosene for lamps, and oil was the answer. Most entrepreneurs rushed to drill wells, gambling on strikes and going bust when wells ran dry. Rockefeller saw the chaos and recognized something others missed. The real money wasn't in finding oil, it was in refining and distributing it efficiently. In 1863, Rockefeller invested in his first refinery in Cleveland. Within 7 years, on January 10, 1870, he founded the Standard Oil Company with several partners. What happened next would transform American capitalism forever. Rockefeller didn't just want to compete in the oil business. He wanted to dominate it completely, and he possessed the perfect combination of vision, ruthlessness, and strategic genius to make it happen. Rockefeller's first revolutionary contribution was vertical integration. He didn't just refine oil, he acquired pipelines, railroad tank cars, distribution networks, and even the companies that made his barrels. By controlling every step from extraction to delivery, he slashed costs and maximized efficiency. His refineries operated 24 hours a day with unprecedented precision. He hired chemists to extract more products from crude oil, turning waste into profit. But efficiency alone didn't build his empire. Rockefeller employed tactics that would eventually be outlawed. He negotiated secret deals with railroads, getting massive rebates on shipping costs that competitors couldn't match. Even more ruthlessly, he sometimes received rebates on his competitors' shipments, essentially making money every time a rival transported oil. When persuasion failed, he'd slash prices below cost in specific markets, bleeding competitors dry until they sold out to him. His method was systematic and relentless. Rockefeller would approach struggling refiners with an offer, sell to Standard Oil at a fair price, or face destruction through predatory pricing. Most sold. Those who resisted often found themselves unable to ship their products or get credit from banks that Standard Oil influenced. One competitor called him a boa constrictor, slowly squeezing the life from American enterprise. By 1880, Standard Oil controlled roughly 90% of America's oil refining capacity. Rockefeller had created the nation's first true monopoly, and he'd become unfathomably wealthy in the process. He was making millions annually when the average worker earned less than $500 a year. The concentration of economic power in one man's hands was unprecedented and terrifying to many Americans. Rockefeller himself remained outwardly calm and pious throughout. He attended church regularly, taught Sunday school, and believed God had granted him the talent to make money. He once said, "I believe the power to make money is a gift from God, to be developed and used to the best of our ability for the good of mankind." To him, building Standard Oil wasn't greed. It was divine purpose, but America was growing uneasy. Journalists called muckrakers began exposing Standard Oil's practices. Ida Tarbell, whose father had been ruined by Rockefeller's tactics, published a devastating 19-part series in McClure's magazine starting in 1902. Her meticulous research revealed the manipulation, coercion, and corruption behind the empire. Public opinion turned sharply against the man they now called a robber baron. Political pressure mounted, states filed lawsuits, Congress held hearings. The Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890 had been passed partly because of concerns about monopolies like Standard Oil. Finally, on May 15, 1911, the Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil violated antitrust laws and ordered its breakup into 34 separate companies. Ironically, this punishment made Rockefeller even wealthier. He owned significant shares in all the successor companies, and their combined value soared after the breakup. By 1913, his fortune reached approximately $900 million. Adjusted for inflation and economic growth, this made him arguably the wealthiest person in modern history, with a fortune equivalent to over $400 billion today. But something remarkable happened in Rockefeller's later years. Perhaps influenced by public hatred, perhaps by genuine religious conviction, he transformed into history's greatest philanthropist. He'd always tithed 10% of his income, but now he gave on an unprecedented scale. He founded the University of Chicago, Rockefeller University, and the Rockefeller Foundation. He funded medical research that helped eradicate hookworm and yellow fever. He supported education for African Americans in the segregated South. By his death on May 23, 1937, at age 97, he'd given away over $500 million. Here's a lesser-known fact: Rockefeller was obsessed with his health and longevity. After a stress-related illness in his 50s caused his hair to fall out completely, he adopted strict routines. He played golf daily, ate carefully, and employed a personal assistant whose sole job was keeping him happy and stress-free. His dedication to longevity paid off. He outlived most of his critics and contemporaries by decades. Rockefeller's legacy remains deeply contradictory. He pioneered business practices that every modern corporation uses: economies of scale, vertical integration, systematic cost analysis, and long-term strategic planning. The companies born from Standard Oil's breakup, including ExxonMobil and Chevron, remain energy giants today. His philanthropic foundations have saved millions of lives and advanced human knowledge immeasurably. Yet he also demonstrated how unchecked capitalism could threaten democracy itself. The antitrust laws created to stop him still protect market competition today. The debate he sparked about wealth concentration, corporate power, and economic fairness continues in our discussions about tech monopolies and billionaire influence. Rockefeller once said, "The ability to deal with people is as purchasable a commodity as sugar or coffee, and I will pay more for that ability than for any other under the sun." This reveals his view of the world. Everything and everyone had a price, a function, a role in the grand machine of wealth creation. So was Rockefeller a visionary who brought order to chaos and used his wealth for good? Or was he a ruthless monopolist who crushed competition and bought redemption with stolen profits? Perhaps he was both. Perhaps that's what makes him so fascinating and relevant today. In an era of unprecedented wealth concentration and corporate power, Rockefeller's story reminds us that how we build matters as much as what we build, and that great fortunes carry great responsibilities. The oil king who built and broke America ultimately rebuilt his legacy through generosity, leaving us to wonder, does the end justify the means, or do the means define the end?